You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 150.3, the Combat Sports Report with Hanson Crafton.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Welcome back for the first time in a long time to Hanson Crafton. Hanson was my favorite reporter when I was the sports editor at the News and Tribune, and he is a fighting enthusiast. Welcome back, Hanson. How you been?
I've been great, man. How about you?
Good. I hear we have some good fights this weekend.
We do. We have a really good mixed martial arts card with the UFC this weekend. Two title fights and then a couple fights in the undercard are also pretty exciting as well. So pretty good Saturday night for some fight fans this weekend.
All right, so tell me about this, what's going on this Saturday, Hanson?
All right, so we have a title fight for 155 pounds. You have the champion Islam Makhachev. Islam has been a dominant champion in the lightweight division. That is the 155-pound class. He has won 14 straight. He has a record of 26-1. His one loss was early in his career. It was his second fight in UFC.
Oh.
He got stopped early in the fight. Since then, he has been dominant. Has a great resume. He's beat guys like Dustin Poirier, Alexander Volkanovski, Charles Oliveira, Dan Hooker. I mean, this guy, he's got a list of who's that he's beat during his title reign. His opponent is a guy that he has fought before, Arman Tsaarukyan. They fought back in April of 2019. It went to Islam in a unanimous decision. Very close fight, maybe one of Islam's toughest fights in the UFC.
Hence the rematch.
Exactly. Arman's been on a good run since then. He's won 4 straight. He just beat Oliveira, who is a previous champion. So he's looked really good his last few fights, and he's deserved this rematch.
So what kind of matchup is it? What are the specialties of the guys?
Both are outstanding grapplers. So you're going to be getting a grappler versus grappler match, which usually it could go two ways. It could be for a long fight with a lot of grappling in it, or the grappling kind of cancels each other's out, and you'll see a stand-up bout. The thing with that is usually when you have two dominant grapplers, the stand-up doesn't look that great. But with these two, they actually have pretty good stand-up. Islam's stand-up has improved as he has went in the UFC. He's got decent combinations, good boxing with his hands. Arman, I would say, probably has the power advantage. He's the one who really has he can take your lights out with one shot. He's good with both his hands and his feet. So it could be an interesting fight either way.
And if you were going to guess what's going to happen in this one, what's your prediction?
I would, until I can see somebody beat Islam, it's just tough to pick against him. I mean, he's looked so good. Like I said, the guys he's beat are top guys. I mean, Volkanovski was a world champion at 145 pounds. He beat him twice, took him out in the first round the second time they fought. He's just been so dominant. It's tough to see anybody beating him right now.
So do you expect it to go to the distance again or something different?
I do. I think Arman's tough. His grappling, because Islam's really gonna, he finishes fights by submissions. I don't think he's gonna be able to find a submission against Arman. So I think it will go the full 5 rounds.
And that's not the only championship match on Saturday, right?
No, we have a title fight in the 135-pound division as well. You got your champion, Merab Desheveli.
Man, you're doing
Merab
great with
is
these names, Hanson. These are not easy.
I'm doing the best I can. Merab's another one that's been on a tear lately. He's won 11 straight. His last 3, he's looked really dominant. He just beat the champion, Sean O'Malley, in his last fight, a unanimous decision. Before that, he beat a former Olympian and also a former champion, Henry Cejudo, in a unanimous decision. Marab is another one who has really good grappling. He will lean on his grappling. I think he's had a fight where he attempted like 30 to 40 takedowns in a 3-round fight. So he is a guy who will, he knows where his bread and butter is, and he'll do his best to try to get the fight there. He's not spectacular on the feet, so I think he is at a disadvantage when the fight is standing. He's fighting Umar Nurmagomedov. He is the little cousin of former great Khabib. Khabib was a former 155-pound champion who's also cousins with Islam, and he
Wow.
retired undefeated. So this is the I think the youngest of the bunch that's came over fighting from they're from Dagestan, and so he will try to get his first world title tomorrow. I think he is the favorite. In my eyes, I do lean towards him with this fight. He's undefeated. He's a very strong grappler as well, but he's better on the feet. I think if it stays on the feet, I think he does have the advantage there. So he's 18-0, going for 19-0. I think he gets it done. I think he gets his first world title, and I think he probably holds that belt for a while.
That's quite a family.
Yeah, I mean they've had several champions. They got another cousin that's in another organization who's a champion there. He'll probably be over to the UFC soon, and I'm sure they have several more that are probably coming. But yeah, I mean the three that have made it to the UFC have I mean they've been three of the best fighters to come through. So well, we'll still see about Umar. Like I said, he fights tomorrow for his first title. So I'd say the jury's still out on him, but with Khabib and Islam, they've really um, made a path for those guys because they've been dominant champions throughout their whole careers.
So Hanson and I are going to be talking combat sports, whether it's boxing or MMA or whatever it is, um, as often as there's a major fight. So we'll preview it um, on Friday, most days, maybe Thursday. Probably we'll release them on Fridays. And then he and I will talk about what happened on Sundays and release that for you. So you will have those to listen. So if you're a fighting fan, this is the segment for you. What else is going on Saturday in the undercard, Hanson?
So you got two really good fights. I mean, three, the undercard's really good, but there's two fights that really stand out to me. So in the headliner, the fight that'll go before the two title fights, you got two ex-champions, Jamal Hill and Yuri Prohaska. Um, that is going to be in the light heavyweight division. That is 205 pounds.
Mm.
You got so both of them are coming off losses to the champion, Alex Pereira, but Tejeda's been one of those guys where a loss to him's not really a bad thing. You know, he's kind of buzzed all through the division. He's a two-weight world champion, and he just started fighting in the UFC just a few years ago. He's a guy that came from kickboxing, but he's been very dominant as well. So it it doesn't hurt both of them that they've both lost to him. So it's still a really big fight. The winner of this fight will fight for the belt again. So you got two guys who Jamal Hill is very good on his feet. He has good stand up, got very good power in both hands. And then Yuri is a guy who is very awkward on his feet. He's got a kickboxing style. He's from the Czech Republic. So he just has this samurai spirit to him. And that's exactly how he fights. I mean, he is every bit of the word warrior. A little bit awkward, but he loves to fight. He has exciting fights. He stays in the pocket, puts himself in danger. That's going to be a really fun fight. And then there's also a fight in the lightweight division with a guy I personally enjoy watching a lot, Renato Money Miakano. He has been on a roll lately. He's won four straight, six of his last seven, but the one loss was very questionable. I think a lot of people thought he did win that fight. He's a guy who's been around for a while, but he's just now kind of coming into his own. And he's an exciting guy. He's one of those guys. He's exciting on the mic. He also does a podcast. He has a big following from that. But he is very fun to watch fight. He has a style. He can do both. stand up and ground. He's coming off a very nice win over Saint Benoit, who was a guy who had a lot of heat behind him. They was pushing him as a highly touted prospect, and Moicano took him out, grounded and beat him up, and I think he got him out there in 2 rounds. So he's going in against a guy, Benny Benel Dariush, and Dariush is a guy who's been around for a while, super durable, tough guy. So this is a big fight for Moicano, kind of see where he's at in the division. I think a win here will get him into that top 4, top 3 category, and he can potentially be looking at a title shot. So another big fight on the card. Like I said, it's a card full of good fights tomorrow night.
So no Wolf tickets.
No wolf tickets on this one. This is this one you're going to get your money's worth.
All right. What's coming up in the next couple of weeks, Hanson?
So in the next couple weeks, there's there's another UFC card coming, I think, in 2 weeks. That one I think is in Australia. You got another title fight on there. It'll be the middleweight championship. Dricus du Plessis will be facing Sean Strickland. That is a rematch from a fight a few months ago when du Plessis won the belt. So that's an exciting fight. There's I believe it's the 125-pound women's title fight will be on that card as well. And that is Jan Whaley. And I think she is fighting. Honestly, I can't remember the girl she's fighting, but
All right. Well,
she's
we'll talk
defending her
about that
belt.
plenty. We'll talk about that plenty before it happens. So.
Yeah, so that one's coming up, and then I don't think there's anything in boxing right around the corner, but there is some good cards coming up in February with boxing.
All right, and we'll tell you all about it on the Combat Sports Report with Hanson Crafton. Appreciate your time, Hanson, and look forward to working with you again. I always loved it when we were working together before, so this is going to be a lot of fun.
Always fun. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Thanks to Hanson for spending some time with us talking about the UFC. And thank you for listening. Please go right now and like, subscribe, or follow us on your favorite podcasting platform. And it would be very helpful to us if you would tell a friend about the Central Indiana Sports Report. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media.